Hi guys, and welcome to another Mental Monday. Back finally. I'm actually getting better. So this week I thought I would start this little mini series within Mental Mondays I wanted to do that kind of talks about the different disorders that are classified in the DSM. So the one I want to start with is borderline personality disorder. So I'm going to read off my phone the different symptoms and stuff like that goes with borderline personality disorder. So the symptoms include emotional instability, feelings of worthlessness, insecurity, impulsivity, and impaired social relationships. Behavioral patterns are antisocial behavior, compulsive behavior, hostility, impulsivity, irritability, risky behavior, self-destructive behavior, self-harm, social isolation, or lack of restraint. And then mood go between anger, anxiety, general discontent, guilt, loneliness, mood swings, or sadness. And then under psychological symptoms, I guess, it lists depression, distorted self-image, grandiosity, or narcissism. And then it says thoughts of suicide are also common. So borderline personality disorder is not as common of one, but it's also not one that is quickly diagnosed. I don't know that it's not common, but it's not one that's talked a lot about. It's not one that gets the publicity that like bipolar disorder does. And bipolar disorder is very close to borderline personality disorder, so they can get confused or it can be like connected in some way. Borderline personality disorder makes it very hard for that person to have relationships. They get very connected to their relationships and the people around them. They get very erratic with their choices and they go between one thing to the other, and it's very inconsistent behavior and very all over the place. They do have mood swings, and like it said, it's major mood swings, very big mood swings, and to a certain extent that harms the relationships, which is a big thing with borderline personality disorder, that they have trouble connecting and keeping relationships because of that behavior, because of how erratic they can be and how dysfunctional those behavior patterns are. So I myself have had a fairly close friend that had it, and I didn't know that that's what it was at first. I don't know if I was even trying to figure out what it was at first. I just knew she was all over the place, and her way of thinking was like totally disconnected from what consequences for her actions might be. When she was weighing the cost of things, she was never really worried about consequences. And then later she would feel really guilty about everything she had done, and then she would start feeling bad about herself, and she would bring it into a focus on her every time. It was all very self-focused, and she kind of picked pieces of other personalities that she liked. Like the people around her, she would bring in pieces of their personality and try to replicate that because she liked that. She liked the attention it got, or she liked how it looked, so she would go for it. She would try to put that into herself, and that never lasted long because that wasn't who she really was. She was her own person, and she was trying to be somebody else or many other different parts of other people. Borderline personality disorder is not the exact same as bipolar, but they do have kind of manic and depressive states, but it's different in that they don't last as long. Borderline personality is much more frequently up and down versus bipolar being those time periods are stretches of time. So somebody with bipolar disorder can go a week being manic and then a week being depressive. Borderline personality disorder, 1 minute they're angry at you, an hour later maybe they can be adoring you and calling you their favorite person in the world. It's different in that sense, but it also has a higher focus on the social functioning of it, where there's much more of a toll taken on their social relationships and social functionability. I don't know if that's a word. Social functioning because of having borderline personality disorder, because they are directly linking those behaviors to the people around them that they're trying to have relationships with. And that is another major part borderline personality disorder. It is in the social category, I think, for the disorders. Borderline is very heavily focused on the social aspect. The biggest tell with borderline personality disorder is mood swings and extreme reactions to things. So they have huge, major explosive reactions. They don't just get angry, they get very angry and sometimes violent. They don't just get sad, they get depressed and can have suicidal thoughts. They don't just get happy, they almost are high on the amount of serotonin and adrenaline rushing through them. They are way up there. So it is a disorder all about extremes and big reactions. Having personally had a friend that was borderline personality disorder, I know it can be very difficult maintaining a relationship with somebody with this. And I also was able to really see her side of it as far as legitimately struggling with it, not wanting to be that way, not wanting to ruin relationships, not wanting to struggle with being close with people. And there was a lot of times that she expressed trying to calm down her reactions and her being depressed or sad, and wanting to be able to manage that better and manage her emotions better. Don't know that there's specific medications given for this. I know borderline personality does have medications that are given. I think it's similar medications to bipolar, where there's anti-anxieties, antidepressant, mood levelers to kind of help that, and then therapy to help with the social aspect after those mood swings are more under control. But it takes a lot of work. And borderline personality disorder is one that is generally not chemical. It can be, but it's not as directly talked about with the chemical side like bipolar disorder is. So it's a difficult one. Next week, I do want to talk about bipolar disorder in connection with this one. They are similar in a lot of ways and different in a lot of ways. That's what Norbert thinks about borderline personality disorder. So, tell me what you think about starting this series. I hope you guys really liked this video and found it informative. And if you have any questions about borderline personality disorder, or you have stories to share or thoughts about it, I would love to see those in the comments. And if there's any specific disorders or mental health issues or topics that you would love to see a video about, please leave that down in the comment section below as well. And I hope you liked this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends. If you aren't subscribed, click subscribe so you can see when the next video comes out. I will see you guys in that one. Bye!